Hello everyone, welcome to Exploring with Cindy and Dan. We are leaving Seattle, Washington for a wonderful 7-day inside passage cruise to Alaska with the Discovery Princess Cruise Line's newest ship. This video is about the ports of call in Alaska, so please join us in this adventure. We are doing once again our favorite cruise, a 7-day cruise to Alaska with the ports of call of Juneau, the capital of Alaska, Ketchikan, Skagway, Victoria in British Columbia, Canada, and a glacier day of Endicott Arm in the Inside Passage featuring the Dawes Glacier. We are traveling at the beginning of the Alaska season from May 28 through June 4th. Princess Cruise Line has been sailing the world for more than 55 years, as I mentioned before. The award-winning cruise sailed to more than 330 destinations around the globe, and Alaska is the best scenic cruising for us. And that's why we keep coming back to Alaska year after year. Every Alaskan cruise we do is totally different. There's always something new to see and explore. This is our first port of call, Ketchikan. Ketchikan's real history dates back to 1883, when a man named Snow built a salmon saltery. By 1900, with a population of 800, the town was officially incorporated. Ketchikan is located on the western coast of Revillagigedo Island, near the southernmost boundary in Alaska. It is 679 miles north of Seattle and 235 miles south of Juneau. Its population is 8,142 within city limits, with a total population including surrounding areas of 13,686. Ketchikan is the 7th most populated city in Alaska. The temperature in Ketchikan is in the low 60s during peak summer months, and it has an average of 152 inches of rain per year. Ketchikan is the salmon capital of the world. Logging also became an important industry for Ketchikan, and cruise ships started coming to the city through the Inside Passage, making Ketchikan a popular port of call. Ketchikan is only accessible by sea and air. Most visitors arrive on large and small cruise ships, and independent travelers can reach Ketchikan on the Alaska Marine Highway with the state ferry system. Ketchikan is also known as Alaska's first city because it's the first major community travelers come as they journey north. Their abundance in salmon drew the Tlingit people to this ideal area, which they settled. By the late 19th century, gold and copper were discovered in the surrounding mountains, creating the need for a supply center, and Ketchikan flourished. And this is the downtown area in Ketchikan. The downtown area is the main commercial district of Ketchikan and contains 2 large harbors, where several cruise ships dock. Since we arrived with Princess Cruise and with the Discovery Princess, we were able to dock next to the main harbor, within walking distance from downtown Ketchikan. Downtown centerpiece is Creek Street, said to be the most photographed street in Alaska. Now it's full of shops and art galleries, but Creek Street was once the red light district. We couldn't film that area because it started to rain so much, and we had our elderly parents with us and we didn't want to leave them behind, but in August we will come back to Alaska and we'll share more videos with you. For the passengers who are doing the Princess excursion, they will meet at a specific location for each shore excursion departure. So always look at your ticket for the correct place and time. Taxis are located pierside and throughout the city. A free shuttle bus runs every 20 minutes from the pier. Ketchikan has a variety of art galleries, specialty stores, and general merchandise in the downtown area. If you need to go to a bank, you can find First Bank and Wells Fargo Bank, and a post office conveniently located at 3609 Tongass Avenue, and they're open from Monday through Friday from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. There are 2 visitors information centers in the downtown area. The main visitor information center is located near Berth 2, at 131 Front Street, and the second one is near Berth 3 at 417 Water Street. The best points of interest in Ketchikan with a princess excursion are the following. The outdoor adventures excursion, ride-in and off-road vehicle, kayaking, hiking, nature watching, ziplining, and more. The Totem State Park, walk in a peaceful forest. This park is home to 14 totem poles and a replica of a 19th century clan house offering a look into the Tlingit and Haida native Alaskan culture. Ketchikan has the world's largest collection of totem poles, and they are easily found in the downtown area, in museums and totem parks. With the Saxman Native Village, you can experience a rich living culture of the Tlingit as they welcome you into their village. The Alaska Rainforest Sanctuary is a 40-acre rainforest reserve home of bald eagles, black bears, seals, and many birds, and you can even watch a master native totem pole carver at work. With the misty fjords and national monument, you can take in a dramatic beauty of a land slowly carved by nature. You will find 1,000-foot waterfalls and crystal lakes. The George Inlet Lodge is a former cannery bunkhouse built in the 1940s, which is a part of a shore excursion with Princess Cruise. If you want to do any excursion with Princess, just go down to Deck 5, Plaza Deck, and head to the shore excursion desk to book your excursion, forward of the ship. If you see coupon books in Ketchikan, Juneau, or Skagway, just grab one. You can find huge savings and free items using these coupons in specific stores, so don't forget to get one on your first port of call. You can get free Northern Limes magnet or free shopping bags in every port of call, or adult jackets for $30, fleece jackets for $20, ulu knife for only $5, and many more discounts. This is the Great Alaskan Lumberjack Show. The world champion athletes compete in a springboard chopping, back sewing, axe throwing, log rolling, and a 50-feet tree climb, so you do not want to miss the show. After speaking to a shore excursion crew member and some passengers, we were told that one of the best excursions in Ketchikan is the Misty Fjords and Wilderness Explorer cruise. Also, the backcountry jeep and canoe safari and the Rainforest Trail e-bike and nature walk. On one of the Princess Cruise presentation in the ship, we learned the 5 different varieties of salmon in Ketchikan. The way to remember their name was simply holding one hand up. Your thumb rhymes with chum, so the first one was the chum salmon. Your pointer finger can sock someone in the eye, so it was sockeye salmon. Your middle finger is the tallest, so it was king salmon. You can put a silver ring on your ring finger, so we will call it silver salmon. And your pinky was the easiest one to remember, the pink salmon. While in port, we saw multiple cruise ships like the Holland America Noordam and the Carnaval Luminoso and the Silver Seas Silver Muse. So you should expect a lot of passengers in your Ketchikan day. The Alaska cruise season starts late April through the middle of October. Different cruise lines have different schedules. Princess Cruise Alaska season is from April to the end of September. If you are trying to save some money, you should book your cruise at the beginning of the season when it is a little bit colder, but you will experience everything as if you were sailing in the middle of the summer, with less people. As a suggestion to you, try not to book an Alaskan cruise at the end of the season, as the weather gets too unpredictable and you can get some ports of call canceled due to the weather. For example, last year for us, in 2022, we did a cruise with a different cruise line in the middle of October, and we missed some port of calls due to the bad weather. We are listening to passengers cheering the late passengers to get into the ship fast. Our all-aboard time was 2:30 p.m. in Ketchikan, and some passengers arrived at the ship after 2:30 p.m. The arrival time at Ketchikan was around 6 a.m., and the crews let the passengers disembark at around 6:25 a.m. But wait until they announce that the gangways are open to head that way, so you can avoid the congestion in the gangways where too many people are in the same area at the same time. We usually wait an hour or so after they announce that the gangway is open to get out of the ship, so we can avoid the crowds. If you do not want to get off the ship in Ketchikan, you can always enjoy the Discovery Princess with less people. A lot of places in the ship are open except for the casino and the shops, because by the gambling and regulation laws, they have to remain closed until we sail away and reach international waters. But the Discovery Princess has many things planned for you if you stay in the ship. On our Ketchikan Day, they have enrichment presentations like the International Wine Experience, trivia games, the Art of Collecting seminar, afternoon tea in the Skagway dining room, movies in the Vista Lounge, Bible study early in the morning, board games, and many more activities for you. On day 4 of our cruise, at around 4:50 a.m., we approached Holcomb Bay, and you could see Harbor Island and Round Inlet on the port side of the ship. By 5 a.m., we were entering Endicott Arm, and we could see Wood Spit on the starboard side. Port side is the left side of the ship, and the starboard side is the right side of the ship. By 5:15, we could see Sandom Island on the port side of the ship, and around 5:50 we could see Fort Terror on the port side. In an Alaskan cruise, a naturalist always joins the cruise, and you can enjoy occasionally commentary from him. His name was Michael Malowski, and he will broadcast into the World Fresh Marketplace on deck 16 aft or via your stateroom television. Tune in by selecting the movies and TV options, then the live TV, and then the Bridgecam logo. He won't be able to broadcast on the outside decks at the entrance of the inside passage, as Alaska has a broadcast sound law so people won't disturb the wildlife. While we were going through the inside passage, our naturalist was telling us that the North Pacific Ocean runs inside in a scenic corridor of 1,200 miles from Seattle all the way north to Skagway. When we were cruising at the beginning of our cruise in the open ocean, the water was a normal light blue color, but here in the fjord is lime blue. The reason for that is that there is a lot of sediments in the ocean. As the glacier moves across land, it grinds down rocks into a fine powder called rock flour. And when the iceberg graft of the glacier, it deposits that crushed rock into the water. Rock flour or glacial flour consists of fine-grained silt-sized particles of rock, and it doesn't sink, and it floats on the top of the water, giving the water a murky green color, like you see here. Our naturalist said that there is a saying that in Endicott Arm, there is so much silt in the water that if you follow the fjord, you are more likely to get dirty than to get wet. The Tonga National Forest is the densest forest in the world. The land is nearly impossible to travel, so the natives use their boats as their means of transportation. Alaska coastline is 47,000 miles of coastline. The iceberg that you see here is very big. Our naturalist was telling us that we can only see 1/7 of the top of the iceberg. This time we couldn't see the aurora borealis because the skies were not clear. But if you're traveling to Alaska, you should download the app named My Aurora Forecast on your phone, and you can check the app and see if there is a chance that you might see the aurora borealis. Our naturalist told us that the time to see is between 11 p.m. and 3 a.m. And if there is a chance to see the aurora borealis, your naturalist will let you know in your cruise. During the last ice age here at Endicott Arm, glaciers filled in with ice to the top of the mountains, all the way down to the valley floor beneath us. After the glacier did most of the work here, those giant glaciers retreat, and then the ocean flooded in about 1,000 years ago, creating the present-day fjords. Glaciers carved through the canyon like giant bulldozers in nature's construction zone. I remember our naturalist was telling us that the beaches in Florida or California have gradual descent of shelving where the land meets the ocean. Sometimes, for example, in Florida, you can walk out on the beach about 50 yards and the water is just up to your waist. But here at the fjords, there is no gradual beaches. The land in the fjords abruptly drops straight down into the ocean that can be 1,000 feet deep. And that is why the captain can put the cruise ship just 50 yards off of the mountainside of the port side. In the afternoon on day 4, at around 12:30, we arrived in Juneau, the capital of Alaska. Juneau was founded as a gold mining camp in 1880. It became the Alaska Territorial Capital in 1900. Like Ketchikan, Juneau is only accessible by air or by water. The Tlingit natives first populated the area thousands of years after discovering abundant salmon in the waters. Modern settlement did not develop until the late 19th century. It was a peaceful settlement until gold rush fever swept the nation and an enterprising mining engineer named George Pills offered a reward to any native who could produce gold. The Tlingit chief Cowie presented a big nugget of gold to Pills and his partners Richard Harris and Joseph Juneau. Harris initially named the area Harrisburg, but locals changed the name to reflect their partnership with Joe Juneau. Established as Alaska capital in 1906, Juneau is the largest state capital by land area and the only one that borders a foreign country. Juneau is located in the southeast area of Alaska, 900 air miles north of Seattle and 600 air miles southeast of Anchorage. It is approximately 3,081 square miles and the only state capital in the United States with no road access. Juneau is not very cold. Average summer days are in the 60s, with many days reaching 70s and low 80s. And the average annual precipitation is only 86.1 inches. For the passengers who are doing the Princess excursions, they will meet at a specific location for each shore excursion departure. So always look at your ticket for the correct place and time, just like you did in Ketchikan. Taxis are located pierside, and always confirm your fare with the driver before leaving. Juneau has a variety of souvenirs in local gift shops and general merchandise in the downtown area. If you need to go to the bank, you can find the First National Bank, Wells Fargo Bank, and Key Bank. There are 2 visitors information centers in the downtown area. The main visitor information center is the Cruise Ship Terminal Visitor Information Center located at 470 South Franklin Street. And the second location is the Marine Park Kiosk at 292 Marine Way. The best points of interest in Juneau with the Princess excursions are the following. The Mendenhall Glacier excursion. The Mendenhall Glacier is a glacier 12 miles long and half a mile wide, and it is 300 to 1,800 feet deep. This glacier has been slowly retreating since the mid-1700s. This glacier is just 12 miles from downtown Juneau, and visitors can also reach it by bus, taxi, or the Princess Excursion tour bus. Whale watching quest is another princess excursion where you always see humpback whales or even killer whales. The orcas, or killer whales, are common sightings in Juneau. The glacier flight scene is an awesome excursion. You will fly over the massive Juneau ice field and get a front row seat to the Endicott Glacier. And you can see spectacular ice falls that are accessible only from the air. A glacier excursion is the Endicott Glacier and the Whale Quest excursion. This excursion was one of the passengers' favorites. Dog sledding is where you can meet the professional mushers and their amazing dog companions, and you can visit the summertime training grounds for a ride in a wheeled sled. The Alaska Shore Company in Juneau is a great store for souvenirs if you want to buy something for your family and friends. This is the Mount Roberts Tramway, where you can take a 5-minute tram ride to the top of Mount Roberts for a panoramic vantage point of 1,800 feet above the city. The mountaintop attractions include trails, shops, and nature displays. Our naturalist said that once you get to the top, the temperature of the top of the mountain is at least 5 degrees cooler. After you finish with your excursion, you can do a self-guided walking tour in the pier area or downtown area and visit some of the favorite locations like the Red Dog Saloon. You can stop there for a microbrew or try some of the restaurants in Juneau. This is Tracy's King Crab Shack, another place our naturalists suggested to visit while in Juneau, and try the king crab legs. You can eat the biggest crab legs in town. Each king crab leg is as long as your arm. Tracy King Crab Shack was born out of a dream to give people the ultimate Alaskan experience. Here in Alaska, the wilderness and wildlife come into the port towns. For instance, in Juneau, when you're walking into town, look up and check the trees above the sidewalk, or look at the top of the buildings near the harbor water. You might see bald eagles. A couple of cruises ago, our naturalist told us that there was a black bear in a little pocket meadow in the city of Juneau. This is day 5 of our 7-day Inside Passage Alaska cruise, and this is our third port of call, Skagway. Skagway was founded in 1897 and officially incorporated in 1900. Skagway is located in a narrow glaciated valley at the head of the Taya Inlet. It is located 90 miles northwest of the capital city, Juneau. The population of Skagway is 1,036 people, but in summer months the population doubles for the tourist season, and during the gold rush the population went as high as 10,000 people. Their average temperature ranges from 45 to 67 degrees Fahrenheit and receives less rain than a typical Southeast Alaska city. Skagway only receives 27 inches of rain a year, so it is known as the sunshine capital of the Southeast Alaska. People from Canada's Yukon Territory visit Skagway regularly in the spring to escape the northern cold. The Skagway name was not the original name of the town. The Tlingit people indigenous to the area originally named it Skagwa, and many outsiders spell it wrong, and then the post office changed it to Skagway in 1899. In Skagway, for the passengers who are doing the Princess Excursion, they will meet at a specific location for each shore excursion departure, so always look at your ticket for the correct place and time, just like you did in the previous ports of call. Discovery Princess docks within walking distance of downtown Skagway. A shuttle is always available from where the ship docks to a little parking lot before the entrance of downtown Skagway, free of charge for all passengers, because there were 3 rock slides at the pier back in 2022. They caused damage to the dock, and they led to the full closure of the dock last year in 2022. So for the safety of the passengers, we were not allowed to walk at the docks. There is another type of shuttle available from the pier to downtown Skagway for $2 per person each direction, or $5 for an all-day pass. Just look for the Smart Bus. Taxis are not available in Skagway. The only bank in Skagway was Wells Fargo, but it was closed when we arrived. Skagway has one visitor information center between 2nd and 3rd Street.
There's like, yeah, so it's just across the road. So where the tickets are? Yes, right, in the same building. Yes. Right across the bridge.
This is the Visitor Information Center. It is also a small museum with a theater at the back of the building, and it is free of charge. You can use the bathroom facilities and ask for information about the city of Skagway.
They had spent nearly a year getting there, a year of misery and sorrow.
The best points of interest in Skagway with a Princess Excursion are the following: the White Pass and Yukon Route Railroad. It is a scenic railway of the world, and it links Skagway with the Yukon, Canada. It's a 41-mile round trip that offers the passengers an unforgettable journey to the summit of the White Pass at nearly 3,000 feet in elevation. Klondike Summit is also called the White Pass Summit, and it rises 3,292 feet above sea level along the Klondike Highway. It runs parallel to the White Pass and Yukon Route Railroad, and it offers breathtaking views of waterfalls, glaciers, and scenic views. Gold Rush History is a tour of the camps of the Gold Rush. You can pan for gold and meet a few costumed characters who will show you what the life was like during the days in the 1800s. You can also do the Yukon Adventure Shore excursion. It is a 65-mile drive from Skagway. Whitehorse is the center of the Yukon's mining and forestry industries, and it is a welcoming spot for visitors. Haines is just 14 miles from Skagway by water. The town is renowned for huge convocations of bald eagles and one of the planet's longest fjords. Skagway also have dog sledding excursion with professional mushers and their amazing dogs companions, and they will introduce you to the Alaska state sport. You can take a flight to a glacier and experience flying over the snow, or visit the summertime training grounds for a ride in a wheeled sled. During the gold rush, the Red Onion Saloon was Skagway's most exclusive bordello. Now, this colorful establishment is a bar and a restaurant, and also a National Historic Building. If you want to do any excursion with Princess Cruise, just go down to Deck 5, the Plaza Deck, and head to the shore excursion desk to book your excursion. It is forward of the ship. Skagway is our favorite port of call in Alaska. No matter where you go in Skagway, you will feel like you're stepping back in time. This year, some of the neat museums we used to visit were closed to the public, but maybe they will reopen soon for the summer. Most visitors to Skagway think of it as a gold rush town and are surprised when learning that the area is also known for spectacular botanicals and farms. During the summer of 1898, local residents took to farming and were delighted with the fruitful results. In 1910, Skagway was proclaimed the Garden City of Alaska. This is the Skagway Museum, and it was also closed to the public. The Moore homestead is the remaining land from William and Ben Moore's original 160-acre homestead claim in Skagway. And the Moore cabin that you will see is the oldest structure in town, built in 1887. And the city has this house as a museum for the visitors. Today, 2 rooms have been restored to their Victorian-era charm. Other rooms feature exhibits about the family, life in the frontier town, and the interracial marriage between Ben Moore and Tlingit Sayet. This is the oldest cabin in town. This is day 7, Victoria in British Columbia, Canada. The oldest city in Western Canada, Victoria was established in 1843 as a Hudson Bay Company trading post. Victoria is located in the province of British Columbia in Canada, on the southern tip of the Vancouver Island. Its population is 80,000 people within the metropolitan area and about 345,000 in the Greater Victoria. Victoria has moderate weather. Spring and summer months range in temperature from 65 to 90 degrees Fahrenheit. Canada is a bilingual country. The official languages spoken are English and French. However, visitors can expect English to be spoken here. Victoria is considered the most British city in all of Canada. British Columbia's proud capital shows its colonial past and English heritage. Victoria is also called the City of Gardens. No matter what season you come to Victoria, Victoria is always in bloom. It has the cherry blossoms in January, colorful tulips in March, fragrant lilacs in May, or regal roses in summer. Each spring, 1,600 flower baskets adorn the lamppost of Victoria. The cruise ship docks in Ogden Point, located approximately 7 minutes via shuttle bus or a 30-minute walk from downtown Victoria. Taxis and limos were available at the pier near the ship. A shuttle bus service is provided every 10 to 15 minutes to and from the town for a small fee. Shopping in Victoria is great. There are 4 areas where you can shop. You have the Bay Center on Government Street, a large 4-story shopping mall with over 90 stores. The Government Street is where you can find the best of city's British imports. Lower Johnson Street is the Old Town area, and Chinatown, it is North America's second oldest Chinatown. US dollar is accepted in Victoria, and a currency exchange office remains open at the terminal building at the pier at all times when cruise ships are in port. The best points of interest in Victoria with the Princess excursions are the following. Butchart Gardens in the Brentwood Bay. You will find the famous Butchart Gardens that host more than 1 million visitors each year. 55 acres of beautiful landscaped ground and themed pavilions provide a unique experience for visitors. The Legislative Building Tour and City Tour. The building was built in 1893 in honor of Queen Victoria's Diamond Jubilee. In the evening, at the time we arrive at the port, it is illuminated by 3,500 light bulbs. Victoria Butterfly Garden is a 12,000 square foot enclosure of tropical paradise filled with a multitude of free-flying butterflies. Whale watching tour is very amazing because you can see the killer whales in their natural habitat during a harbor cruise. Craig Deroche Castle is a Canadian National Historic Site. It is a Victorian-era castle built between 1887 and 1890. We will be cruising to Alaska again in the middle of August with the Royal Princess, and I know it will be absolutely amazing. Every cruise to Alaska is always different. This is the end of our video of the ports of calls in Alaska. Don't forget to watch our 2 videos of the Discovery Princess in Alaska, Part 1 and Part 2, where we do a complete narrated tour of the ship from decks 4 through deck 19. And we give you information and tips about the Discovery Princess. We talk about more of embarkation, disembarkation, internet package, sail away, drink packages, Camp Discovery, Princess Vacation Protection, Princess Plus, what is included in your cruise fare, enrichment activities, and you will also enjoy a galley tour in the ship's kitchen, and many more tips and information. Please consider subscribing to our channel with the notification bell on so you'll know when we'll have our next video, as we are getting close to our goal of 1,000 subscribers, and it is free to do so. Thank you very much.